Hey guys, man oh man, you don't know how many recordings I've done of this particular topic to try to get this video up. My computer's acting weird, sound card's acting glitchy. I mean, there were a couple of versions of this where I looked like I belonged in a Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie because the words just weren't matching my lips. It was that bad, but hopefully this recording will work. As I promised in my last video, I'm going to continue off with the religion and the religious influence in this country theme. There was a point I wanted to bring up in the other vid, but I didn't get a chance to, so I'm going to devote this video to that. And it's on the fallacious belief that this country was founded on Christianity, which is just not true. The founding fathers themselves have stated over and over again that they were not interested in making a theocratic state. In fact, many of them were no fans of religion and Christianity at all. I mean, they have certain famous, or should I say infamous, quotes on the subject. I'm going to put two links to vids up on the side there, where other people on YouTube have put up a collection of quotes from them, where they've said some rather unflattering things about Christianity and religion. So, also you can look up, hell, the Treaty of Tripoli, I think, would be good enough. Just Article 11 of the treaty should tell you point blank that they were not interested in forming this country in Christianity. Granted, people are still arguing the point. Some people are saying that that article is falsified or that's a mistranslation. There's a lot of controversy on that. I think that we can argue this on a different tact. I mean, we can use the Declaration of Independence to prove that this country wasn't founded on Christian values. The reason why I want to use that document is because it was the first major document used by the founding fathers to show the reasons why they wanted to separate from Britain and why they felt that they had the power to do so. And there are also core values in this document, which is supposedly what this country is founded upon and what we still believe to this day. I mean, granted, this country doesn't work with those values anymore. We know that, this country is falling from that, but these are supposed to be the values that we believe in. So that's why I'm going to use that document. Now, I'm just in case some people haven't remembered some of the lines in there, I'm going to read them again. Just a few sentences from the beginning. I don't need to read the whole thing, just a few statements. I'll go through them quickly. I'm sure these are famous words, we all know them. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident: that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's important. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to then seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. I just need those lines to prove my point. Let's start with, the whole the truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This is not a core Christian value. In fact, none of the Abrahamic religions believe that all men are created equal. You might argue that, well, they believe that God, raised man from the earth and breathed life into them and created them in his own image, and that proves that he created them all equally. But you'll also notice that there's a theme in all three of the major Abrahamic religions, that there's God's chosen people, the ones he chose to, lead on and give blessings to and all that. And then there's everyone else that he really doesn't give two shits about. This theme is constant in these religions. I mean, look at the Old Testament of the Bible. Look at the book of Joshua. When the Israelites left Egypt and went into the land of Canaan that they were supposedly promised to because of what he promised Abraham, Joshua was told by God to wipe out just about everybody who lived there. And they pretty much did wipe out just about everyone who lived there. Every last living thing in any city that was not commissioned by God was killed off. How's that being equal? Worse, there were certain tribes that even though they got to live, he used them as slaves. That they were born to be slaves to the Israelites, to serve them forever. That's not equality. I mean, slavery is constantly endorsed in the Bible. That not all men are created equal and that they all have equal rights. That's not a Christian concept. Even to this day, if you look at Christian behavior, they may say one thing, they may try to dress up this belief, kind of make it look pretty. Oh, hate the sin, love the sinner. You know, we love all God's children. But if you look at the way they treat these people, you realize that they don't believe in equality. Look at what they do to homosexuals. That should be it right there. Look at what they used to endorse to black people before the civil rights movement. That's all you really need to look at. They always look for some excuse to elevate their religion, those who worship their religion, and against those who don't. That's not believing in equality among mankind. They don't even believe in equality among men and women. What makes you think they're going to believe in equality among all mankind? I've harped on that point a little long, but I just want to prove that point. Let me quickly go over the other 2 points I wanted to make. There's also the belief that they believe that they have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's not a core Christian value at all. Core Christian values believe that your life is supposed to be to serve God as his servant, or really his slave, to be put point blank with it. You're not here to pursue your own happiness. You're not here to pursue liberty. You're not free to do what you want. Your life was given to you by God as a gift. And Christians believe that you're supposed to spend your life worshiping and serving him and doing his will. Whatever God wills is what you're supposed to do, not your own will. By thy will be done. That's not, you don't believe it. The Constitution and modern mankind, basically modern humans believe that we generally supposed to have a life to do what we will with it. But that's not a core Christian concept. Core Christian concept is to surrender your life to God because it's not yours to begin with. Now they might say, well, you have free will to do what you want, but then when I say, okay, I'm going to exercise my free will not to worship your God, how dare you? You owe him your allegiance. He gave you life. So how am I free to do what I want? It's just not a core Christian concept. Cursory look at this proves that. Now this last point I find very interesting because it's not only something that Christians don't really think about, but it's a core concept, but it's something that this government doesn't want you to think about at all. They believe, this document states, and I'll say the line again, that they believe that governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, and that whenever any form of government comes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter to abolish it. In plain language, it's saying that governments get its power to rule by the people. The people choose whether it's going to be able to have power over them or not. And that when the people feel that their government isn't working for them, that it's doing what they don't want it to do, that they have a right to get rid of it. This is so not a Christian concept at all. I sounded like a Valley Girl doing that. But it's just not a Christian concept. Look again at the Bible. The book of Samuel shows how kings first got put in Christianity. Because originally God was supposed to be their king, and the people leading them were their judges. The prophets and the holy men were the judges of the Lord. But then the people later on said that they wanted a king. And God begrudgingly finally said, okay, fine, you can have a king, but he's going to be abusive to you. Never mind the fact that the king was going to do exactly what God was doing to them. That's another topic. Christianity has always advocated monarchies, the divine right of kings, not the right for the people to choose their own government. They believe that rulers are given to you by God. God chooses who will rule among you. And I mean, that's what kings use. They believe that's how kings justified their rulership. God has chosen me to be king. And you have no right to get rid of me. Only God can get rid of me. I mean, that's how monarchies existed for hundreds of years. Look at how, look what was going on in the Dark Ages during that time. The church were the ones who appointed who was going to be the next king, and there was a lot of conflict with that later on when they started rebelling against that. But it was the whole divine right of kings thing. Not the people get to choose their government. And people definitely didn't have a right to get rid of their king according to Christianity. Only God can choose that. Or the church can dictate who gets rid of what. Not the people. This is not a Christian concept. It is a modern concept, not a Christian one. What blows my mind is that it takes very little research to figure this out. I find that those who argue that this country was founded on Christianity, those who argue that show their ignorance of two things. They're ignorant in how their own religion works and how it was founded, and they're ignorant in their own country's history. Because just a cursory look at both shows that the two don't work. The values this country is supposedly founded upon just don't work with the same value that Christianity is founded upon. It doesn't mesh. I mean, just open a book and you'd realize this. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Catch you guys later in the next video.